Brooklyn Independent Television.
As shoppers, many of us are already very familiar with the whole e-commerce scene. We check out multiple views of a pair of shoes, read user reviews to figure out which microwave to buy, save 50% on a meal with a Groupon, and yes, wait for those pop-up ads to finally finish. But the fact is, a whole lot of small business owners still don't have websites, or at least good ones, and don't necessarily know how to get the most out of the web. But that's just what today's guest is good at. Patrick McLaughlin is the Director of Business Development at Web.com. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you, Randy. I'm honored to be here today.
Tell us about Web.com. What do you do?
Web.com is a publicly traded company, headquartered in Jacksonville, and our entire focus, Randy, is small business is our world. We have 3 million small businesses, and we define a small business as any company with 20 or less employees, approximately $1 million in revenue, and our entire mission is to help those small businesses navigate the world of online marketing to get found, stay found, and prosper.
And how many small businesses do you estimate do not even have a website?
Well, you know, there's 31 million small businesses in the United States that fit that demographic of 20 employees or less. It's an estimate that 52% of those don't even have a website today.
Still don't have a website.
They don't have a website. They're focused on getting their business up and running, getting customers in the door, working with employees, and sometimes that online presence just kind of gets shuffled to the back of the priority list.
So the small businesses that do have a website,
yes.
What are some of the mistakes that they make?
Well, there's a couple, and this is kind of in a random order. They launch the website, and then they don't keep it up to date. It becomes a static website. And probably the way small businesses that are watching the show need to think about it is a website is a journey. It's not an event. It's the evolution of your business. As your business changes, if you have more locations that open up, if you've got new services like I do delivery or I do 24-hour service, it has to be the embodiment of what your business is about. If you change something in the business today, it needs to be on your website. So it's paying attention to your website. The other part is, are you doing the things to help that website get found? How is your search engine optimization? Have you done everything you can to get your Google Places listing up and running? We find a large percentage of small businesses are unfortunately undereducated on some of these things, and it's very easy to fix. So maybe they should consider engaging subject matter experts, right? Let's get away from that old model of turning the website build over to your nephew in exchange for goods or services, and let an expert do it. Like you and I were talking earlier about the fact that if we're feeling ill, we don't take upon ourselves to fix it. We call a subject matter expert called the doctor, and I encourage small businesses to do the same.
So let's talk a little bit about search engine optimization.
Yes.
Because we hear that term a lot.
Right.
I'll admit I don't know too much about it. And
right.
I run a successful nonprofit organization, so I probably should know about it.
Right.
What are the steps to optimize our search engine status?
Well, I think probably the place is to go and understand and learn how this works. So top, 10,000 foot view would be Google and Bing and the other search engines will literally come and scrape and spider the sites on a frequency that's based on the number of visits. So the idea would be when these crawlers go into the site, they're looking for relevant content. Are there any new visuals? Are there any reviews? And they're capturing relevant keywords. So like you and I were talking earlier, if you're a bakery and you're focused on fresh, organic, natural, homegrown, you want to have those words in your site more than once so that Google and Bing recognize, hey, this is the business that they're in. Then those words need to be part of all of your marketing, whether it's on your Facebook page, your Twitter feed, your Foursquare account. So that is one of the key components with search is it needs to be all part of your entire marketing plan. That said, it's highly recommended that you spend time with a company similar to Web.com and other providers that can help search engine optimize each month for you. And another flaw, Randy, is the majority of the companies I work with have no idea that they need to send updates to all the search engines, all the GPS providers, all the Yellow Book directories. There's 130 of those in the United States. You have to update those each month for your business to wave their hand saying, hey, I'm over here, do business with me.
So I always thought it was really just about how many times someone clicked on my website. So it's much more involved than that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now the idea would be, let's go from an extreme. You have the bakery in Brooklyn that has a website, and I'd be shocked if they had more than 200 visits, unique visits per month. Now, if we go to Bank of America, they're having 200 visits per second, right? So there are different ways to make that work. And it's just not about visits. It's about what those visits do as part of what the people do after that search, so they know, hey, where have these people gone and what else is happening on that search? Because we talked earlier, the holy grail is getting that search result above the fold of the bottom of your computer. So you want to have the top 3 or 4 organic search results. And it just doesn't happen by accident. You have to be engaged with this. A thing I like to say in a lot of my class that I conduct, it's not only not an event, it's something you need to feed daily. You need to pay attention to your website. It's as important as the water line or the gas line into your business to keep the lights on.
So you think a lot of small business owners just don't have the time, so they neglect it?
The small business conundrum is what we anchor a lot of our positioning on at web.com would be. Small businesses don't have the time, resources, or personnel to navigate the online presence. And they don't have people that know how to do web design. They don't have people that know how to do SEO, set up a Facebook page, manage their Twitter account. And that's all critical in keeping the business open. So they are not subject matter experts. And usually I close some of my classes saying, don't try to do this by yourself. Engage with people that can, again, take this, manage it, and you enjoy and focus on what you're good at, running your business.
And what about sort of inadequate content, or maybe they're not telling the full story? Do you have examples where that happens? I can imagine a lot of small businesses don't even tell the full story about their product or their service.
Well, it's interesting. At web.com, we conduct a 30 to 45 minute interview with the business that's looking to do a website. So we had a story with this plumber, and I actually listened to the call, and he was out in Massachusetts, out in the Cape, and we let off while they're interviewing saying, well, tell us about your business. And he said, well, aren't plumbers equal plumbers equal plumbers? I said, well, no, tell us about yours. Well, how old are you? And he said, well, we're 130 years old. We were founded in the late 1880s. Well, that's a unique point of difference, right? So Randy, then we went on to ask, what's a unique thing that you do? Well, we're the only 24-hour plumber on Cape Cod. Okay, that's an interesting point of difference, because that goes back to the business strategy. Does your website speak to the value benefit that you have in the marketplace, right? So on the walk over here today, I engaged with one of your local businesses, and I walked away knowing, again, fresh, organic, and natural, that has to be living on her website as well, which we know it is. The plumber, he saw the light, he had real value that I've been in business for 130 years. I'm the only guy that does 24-hour operation in Cape Cod, and I specialize in winterization of all those fancy summer homes that people live in. So we can help. Companies like me can help get that point of difference.
Is it just about websites anymore now? We hear a lot about social networking and Facebook and the like.
No, I think a business owner needs to think of a circle being drawn around their business. And in the front is the door to the bricks and mortar, right? And then to the left may be your website, or is your website. Behind you could be Facebook. On the right-hand side would be Twitter or Foursquare. You have to pay attention to all of those. There's a very interesting stat coming out of Facebook that 77% of millennial-aged or Gen Y-aged shoppers or consumers start their search for a service or product on Facebook. They don't start on Google. So for example, it would be, if a young man is looking for a new car, he might say, hey buddies, to his group of friends, I'm looking at a new car. I really like the new Camaro. What does anybody think? So he served up an opinion to a trusted group of friends. Then when he gets the feedback, what's he going to do next? He'll go to Google then saying, tell me about the Camaro. So each one of those pieces, website, Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, they've got to be congruent, they've got to be aligned, and you have to have a consistent message, because your shopper, this group of 18 to 32 for the most part, they're going to be surfing around all of those to figure out what your business is
So it really is an integrated system.
Totally
Online
integrated.
marketing.
Right.
And just briefly, you also teach a course for small business services for the city of New York, right?
Right.
Want to tell us quickly about that?
Yeah, so I teach a course called Website Fundamentals, and also an adjunct course, if you will, called Get Found, Stay Found, and Prosper. And that's a little trim I came up with because I wanted people to have a sticky and portable message when they left. Patrick is going to help me get my business found, keep it found, and prosper, because that really is about opening up that website. Is it functional and relevant? Am I taking care of it to keep myself found? And I should see the benefits coming out of this with increased profit.
And that's a free class.
That's
given
a free
through
class.
Department of Small Business
Exactly.
Services. Correct?
Yes.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at brickartsmedia.org/BIT.